Dr. Huffer, you've taken on the responsibility of bringing equal access to everyone else. Sounds like a burden, but is it a burden of joy, or is it primarily out of necessity?
Oh, what a penetrating question. It doesn't feel like a burden. It feels like a challenge. It's something that in my private practice, I saw that people were not getting better if they were involved in the legal system. I studied it for many years, I treated it for many years, worked with people, but until 2008, when the new law came out, the Americans with Disabilities Act Amendments Act, ADAAA, I didn't have what I needed to work with the same, and now I do. The ADAAA has made a huge difference in being sure every person is mandated to have equal access when they go to court or in private services serving the public, such as lawyers. So by using this law, I really went to work. I've been consulting. I have seen great turnarounds in cases, and we educate a lot as we move around. We meaning the people I've trained. I do webinars and I train people in this as well. So about the 30 people that I've trained, written the syllabi for, etc., it quickly was driven home that we can't get it all done. We just can't be every place. We work all over the nation. We cannot meet the demand for assistance for people with invisible disabilities. So I decided to try and write a manual, to write a book, to tell what it is we do when we go out. And what we do is follow a rubric that I designed that brings all the facets needed in order to serve these people. They have to have a counseling component. When you have a diagnosis, when you are ill or injured, and you have a problem and you go to court in an adversarial system where every weakness is ferreted out to make you weaker so the other side can win, you need help to offset your impairment. Therefore, our advocates who are trained go in. They're skilled with the counseling component. They know how to help research. They know how to help guide the person. They know how to watch the person. And when that person is faltering, they know how to let the court know they need a break or they need an intervention of some kind so that it's equalized. And it's working way too slowly. But the book is out now, and for people who want to turn to the book and that we can't get to or they can't somehow use us, like afford to because it's private pay, there is no funding for helping people with invisible disabilities with communication, which they need in the court. Now I kind of went on a circle there, but if you think about it, we offer people interpreters for foreign language. We offer for domestic violence advocates that are paid for, that the person doesn't have to pay for. But there isn't for the invisible disabilities. They have to pay themselves. Therefore, sometimes it's prohibitive. So I put it in a book, hopefully for under $100, they can put it together for themselves, and that's the goal. The book is put together kind of like a series of apps, not that I'm all that technologically savvy, but so that if you're in court, you can virtually go from one chapter to another with a tag on the side and find what you're looking for quickly. So that in court, if someone violates the ADA in your behalf, you can quickly get into your manual and there is the law that you can tell the judge what was just violated. We had legal help writing the book, editors, and we've got it put together pretty well so that if you have to go on your own and you have an invisible disability, I keep saying don't go to court without it.
And again, the name of the book?
Unlocking Justice, thank you. the Americans with Disabilities Act, Amendments Act, protecting persons with invisible disabilities, unlocking justice, because they've been locked out of justice for years and still are in many cases. When we decided to do a series of short clips addressing various facets of persons with invisible disabilities having to go to court or be involved in the legal system, we had to go at it in a multidisciplinary way. So one of the clips, or two or more, will have to do with attorneys, mainly Don Allen Moe Frederick, we call him Moe, who is a Harvard graduated attorney and licensed in Colorado. He has taken the training, he's taken my training and become an ADA advocate as well. He is a great fan of using the advocacy model in court. While he doesn't do law and advocacy combined with one client, he knows how it should work, and he'll call in an advocate when it's needed. Additionally, we needed to look into all of the military personnel coming back. How are they being advocated for? If they get accused of a crime, sometimes falsely, if they have a problem with PTSD and someone misunderstands their symptoms for them doing some kind of wrongdoing, who helps them? What we find is there are some volunteers, some people that try to help, but none are trained and certified. Again, we have established a standard of care, and that standard of care we're imparting to certified ADA advocates, who then can ensure that standard of care is carried out during the litigation or our criminal activity process. So we have advocacy needed in every court. There is no court that functions without complaint, without tremendous risk of violation of civil rights. Not one. Family court, one would think, is a warm, fuzzy place with a lot of good titles on things that they do. It is not. It is not. It's a place of great pain and sometimes great suffering for people. They must have advocacy. Very often what are called high conflict cases really are a perpetrator and a victim, a coercive controller, an abuser, and an abused person. Very often it's unclear who the children should be with, because always remember, abusers and coercive controllers look really good in court. The victim very often doesn't look so good in court. Who is the best one for the children? Usually the victim. But how does a judge know? Without an advocate being on the job, being able to help the attorneys access accommodations, interpret that disability to the court, and offset the impairments, a great deal of injustice can be done, and very, very bad outcomes for children. So every single court will be represented. We have Dr. Judith Ray, psychologist, that we interviewed, who has a great deal of experience with attachment disorder, custody problems, the alienation issues, although we don't get into parental alienation syndrome because of its lack of thorough research, but the issue of alienation is still important, and Dr. Judith Ray is very good on that. So we will be adding to this. We also have Ruth Dodson, who is a trained certified ADA advocate, and what the next tier of training is forensic disability specialist. She is trained at both levels and is working very closely with me. So she is giving us the advocate's view of what it feels like when you go into a courtroom as an advocate and you have to deal with the various problems when the mental health issue meets the court.